Good morning, YouTube. Today is Tuesday. There is no rain on the forecast, yet we're getting a little bit of a sun shower. A couple people asked to see a little bit of the gardening work that's paid off. This is our front of our house. These guys right here, these are called Deutzia, and we just missed a great show. They were all peppered with these white flowers. You can kind of see in there, just a great springtime plant. These were little tiny guys when we put them in. There's actually 3 of them, but I'm going to be doing some transplants. You can see a little off crop here. I'm going to be splitting these things a little bit and adding some more. I have a daughter that planted some sunflowers right here, so obviously we're going to need to move those. Those will just crowd each other out. These are the hydrangias. Earlier in the year when I was doing mulch, I cut these down right to the ground, maybe about 4 to 6 inch stem I left. But they are starting to pop, and these things are budding out now. So we're gonna have a beautiful show coming from them. Got a little weeding here, apparently, that I gotta do. Get rid of that guy, get him later. Let's see what we got. Some coral bells. These are called Buckthorn. The fine line Buckthorn are what we went with, and they're kind of cool. They do lose their leaves in the winter time, but in the summer they give us a nice visual interest right there. And then some azaleas here, and I've got some pots I put together. And so that's the front. We'll walk you around the side here. And mulch, it went in. Reggie was just commenting the other day, I was proud of myself doing 15 yards of mulch. Well, that guy, he did 30 yards of mulch. Incredible. But he's got the shoulders for it, I guess. My advanced wisdom / age, 15 was really probably about my limit. That got most of it done anyway. I've got a couple different hosta varieties. In the back, looks like a hosta. That's another hydrangea I cut down. Lily of the Valley back there taken over, so I got to get rid of most of that. And just like comic books, I don't like getting rid of. I don't like getting rid of plants. So what I do is this time of year I'll find a bunch of friends with some garden or yard space, and then when I start splitting these things up, I know where they're going. This guy here is a great example. This one's called Spartan Glory, and I've got a couple buddies that are Michigan State grads. It's harder to find them guys right now after the big scandal than a year or so ago. But anyway, they were both nice plants. This one isn't doing what it's supposed to. I think the first one's blocking a lot of the sun, so I might have to do something. But I split this last spring. I cut about 1/3 of it out, and you'd never know it. It's going crazy. It's a beautiful specimen plant, Spartan Glory, and you see the leaves. It's got boy, I forget the terminology for it, but basically the way the leaves have that little edge and wave in them, and the edges are waved. Just got a whole lot going on for a hosta, so that's pretty. And all the hostas, the nice thing is they flower, and they just do wonderfully. So on the flower pots, I don't know if anyone makes their own pots or not. I always make my own pots, but what you have here, if you're making a pot at home, is you always want to have 3 things. You want to have a thriller, which this is just a fountain grass that I put in. That's the thing that that rises up and pops. So you got your thriller, then you got your filler, and then you got your spiller right over here. And this is a sweet potato vine, and then so thriller, filler, spiller, that'll grow down. And you put those 3 things in a pot, and you end up with a beautiful pot. And depending on where you're putting your pot, for your filler, you can use geraniums or petunias, or there's all kinds of things you can put in there for color. And there's another one. I didn't do a spiller on this one. I think I just ran out of sweet potato vine, frankly. This on the chimney, that is also a hydrangea. Now it's not a climbing hydrangea. What we have, I don't know if I can see any of it. We actually put spikes in. This is a long time ago, and spiked the plant onto the chimney so it could actually cling. But it's done phenomenally well. Every couple years I got to get up there and trim back the top. So we're coming through our garage. We use kind of like a party room in the summer. So I added a few years ago, I added a little changing room, and I've got a little heater in here. So if you get out of the pool and it's, you know, cold outside, you can run in here, and it's got the little heater, and you know, we set up out here food and, you know, drinks and things for people. Coming to the back, we just did get a new liner in the pool. The liner, I take very good care of that kind of stuff, and it lasted a long time, but eventually it wore out, and it's just another little area. I've got just some things that do well with heat camped out in here, and that's almost my entire garden right there. I've got this has just some peppers on it. I went real light on gardening, and I've got a couple tomato plants right there is all. So that's the extent of my actual garden. But I got some cool things here. This one, I'm gonna walk around here because that's kind of a cool plant. I haven't had these before, so we'll see how it does. It looks like it's doing well. That's called a Prince Tut, just like King Tut. This is Prince Tut, must be his kid, I guess. But it's kind of cool. I think it'll get 36 inches tall. That's the Thrilla portion of that planter. And so that's kind of a cool thing. And we have a little Caruth artwork. Caruth Studios does garden art, and they're actually located in almost adjoining town to Perrysburg, Waterville, Ohio. It's their headquarters. So we're lucky. We could pick those things up at garage sales sometimes, and you know, don't have to pay as much as they normally charge. So that's our new liner we just put in. We love it. The pool was really white before. It was so bleached out, there was no pattern left in it, and it finally broke down and tore, and so that's our new one. More planters I built. I don't overdo it with planters. One year I overdid it and it just didn't look good, so we just spread them around more. I'll let the rear landscape speak for itself. This tree form is also a hydrangea that gets big puffs of white flower on it eventually, and I just have different things in here. These are hibiscus that aren't supposed to grow here, but they keep coming back right there, and there's another one right there. This is Turk's cap lily. I just cut these down. They get like 7 feet tall, and they fall all over the place, so I'm gonna try to keep them lower. One of our botanic gardens locally, the last years I've been seeing them at like 3 foot tall, and they actually contain well. So I think what they're doing is they're continually trimming them back to keep them lower. You know, and just a lot of hostas. I talked to you guys about my hosta area. I love them, and so I'm gonna have to back up. Sorry about that. I was zoomed in. I've got, I think, 40 to 50 varieties of hosta. It's one of my favorite plants. They're actually easy. They're more like weeds than anything else. It's hard to kill them. If you put them in the right or in the wrong place and they don't do well, then you just have to, you know, keep working on them. Cats in Texas a while back had asked about some of the hostas, I believe, and had mentioned a white-edged plant. Now this is just a regular basic variety of hosta, which is called Plantagenet, and I think that means nothing special about it. It's just a standard variety, and they're great. And I've got those kind of peppered around because you know, when we bought the home years ago, that's the only one that was here, and I've either begged, borrowed, or I haven't stolen any, but actually I did steal one. That I did gardening work for a neighbor, and I grabbed a shoot off, or a part off of one of theirs, but that's not in this part of the garden. And I mix in some other interesting things. Now the hostas, this is another variety of hosta called Alakazam, and then back here, this guy is called Curley Toes, And this one up in front is called Praying Hands. And they're just some neat varieties that you don't see every day. But this little group here, Cats in Texas, might be what you were referring to. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, are part of what I consider to be a patriotic string of hostas. They're named Revolution, Patriot, one's called Loyalist, and I can't remember the fourth. One of those was Hosta of the Year in like 2012, I think. And then there's always going to be different strains that come off if you get a Plant of the Year. Then they start changing it up a little. So that's that group. Maybe that was what you were asking about. This is called Raspberry Splash here. That is a lungwort. There is the proper name on it. Solomon Seal back in here. It gets a little white flower that hangs below it. Some of my bigger hostas I do keep in the back. I have, I think that one there is called Devil's Advocate. Whoops, right there. And then back over here I have Francis Williams, and I have Blue Devil is one of those over there. I keep some smaller varieties up in front over there. I know this one here is called Blue Mouse Ears, and I forget this one. I guess I could look at the tag, but I'm not going to do that right now. And then this area was all free stuff. Maybe I'll tell the story about this little patio here someday. It's kind of a cool story. I think it applies to comics. But, again, I just built a couple planters. I didn't do thrillers or spillers on these because they're close to the ground. I just want to splash a color on them. I've got some ground covers I've built into the little patio. This guy's a Christmas tree, hosta. This one back here is called Regal Splendor. That was a free gift from a friend of a friend. And then White Wedding is the name of this hydrangea that grows in the back. Looks like I have to clean out my bird bath and do a little yard pickup. And then these guys are azaleas, but they're all but done blooming. Anyway, that's about half of the yard. Thought I'd just do a quick walk around. Hopefully your week is going well. For anyone who doesn't like plants, this was not the video for you, but maybe you hung up long ago on this call. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Silver. God bless America, and hopefully every other country out there. If you're from a different country, God bless your country too. Silver Age Dave is out.